Happy Saturday. I have a comment from Miss Kendall, who was a guest on Oprah's most recent podcast, where she talked about going no contact with her child. And Miss Kendall wants to express some sentiments to me, and I'd like to address that with you all. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. From her comment off of my video where I expressed some concerns about the podcast, she says, I unfortunately was sent this video, and it's so weird to me that mostly you Black creators are trying to get motion off of a video of me on the Oprah podcast. It's just weird, but it's also not surprising. That's what Black people do to Black people. First of all, you should know the situation, especially as a professional therapist, before you speak on it. I didn't go on there for sympathy. I was invited the same as the EC who are no contact with their parents. So you also need to be clear on that. And I had every right to be in the room and share the cliff notes of why I'm no contact with my son and bring awareness to parents who are of abuse. I'll continue to speak up while y'all make your think pieces off of a 30-second clip. So just say you think parents are supposed to be shamed and suffer in silence about abuse, because that's what you're saying. Do better. Thank you for that. So first of all, thanks for your response and your commentary. And, so I want to make a response that's thoughtful and not disrespectful to you. And I'm only responding because you responded to me. So I watched the entire podcast, and I watched you speaking on the podcast. So just to clear that up. So those are my thoughts based off of that. So the first thing I want to say is your friend who sent you the video, I want to thank you, your friend, for sending you that video. And the first question I have is, why did your friend send you my video? There's lots of other creators, lots of other therapists who had some similar sentiments. I'm just curious out of my own curiosity there. Number two, you said up here that you were not, you said that you did not go on there for sympathy. That wasn't my opinion of what I saw. In fact, you were asking, your whole question was asking, you were comparing yourself to children who go no contact, who are estranged, versus parents who are estranged. And you said, why don't parents who who estrange themselves from their children, why don't they get the support and the sympathy and the empathy that the children get? And I'm paraphrasing, but that was your question. So I'm going based off of your question that you asked on there. And to me, that is a question that is based upon looking for attention, looking for sympathy, and things like that from people. You went on that. That was your question. And that was, again, I paraphrased what the question was. And I don't know what your situation with your son is other than what you said on the show, but I do know how your demeanor came across on the show, the question that you asked, and how your demeanor is coming across now. And and again, based on my years of doing this, I already know kind of what's up based on my years and experience of doing this. Number four, I'm not a content creator. I'm a therapist who comes on here and I make think pieces. I'm not doing a new trend. I'm not doing, anything like that. I'm making think pieces based off of my professional expertise of what I do for a living. Number five, I think. This is interesting that you diverted the topic to being Black. I'm not sure what being Black has to do with it. You went on a show talking about no contact and, all this other kind of stuff. And that's what I came on here and spoke about. And that's kind of what I speak about, whether you're a man, woman, gay, bi, trans, Black, white, Asian, it all the same community. Anybody who follows my content knows that. I talk about all sorts of cultures and communities. So the blackness has nothing to do with it. And however, since you brought blackness into it, I will address this as one of the things that I noticed about you and the other woman on the show was that both of you did comparisons. You compared yourself to children who go no contact and, why you don't get as much support as they do. The other woman compared her daughter to her other children. And so that was a comparison. However, again, bringing blackness back into it, the other black parent, he took complete accountability, which is what the experts on the show was telling you all. You have to take accountability. You have to have humility when you're trying to, when you're trying to hear what your children are saying and what's going on. He took accountability and he went to therapy. And I did not express any concerns with him. So this isn't a black issue that I have an issue. It isn't being black that I take issue with. Albeit though, one concern I did have about the gentleman on the show who had gone, who had been estranged from his daughter, was that one of the things I didn't like per se, which wasn't about him, but was more so about the host of the show, which is that she immediately tried to offer him an out, like, oh, you were just being a good parent. But again, I digress. Going back to that, so I'm going to take blackness off the table because I didn't have of challenges with all of the black people on the show. So it was just specifically with your commentary, yours and the other ones, commentary on a platform that you chose to go on to. Anytime you're on any platform to, you should also know that people may have concerns, reservations, criticism, things like that. And again, I'm not the only therapist who's had a think piece on that by far. And I'm not trying to get a motion video off of you per se. And again, there's that sort of like, it's about me. It's more so about the concerns that I had about the messages that were portrayed in that podcast in general. Again, after, this is me working with victims of abuse and just concerns of the information and things like that and how it's put out there. You happen to be a part of that. Lastly, I can't, if you want to say that, this is what Dr. Jones does, that's fine. I can't be, I can't be responsible for the entire Black community and things like that. But, there are some concerns there. I stand, 10 toes down on what I said before. I know that it didn't mean to come across. I didn't mean to come across as upsetting. However, this I think this follow up really highlights a few more things. If you feel like you would have another like longer, maybe in depth conversation, you're welcome to come on my podcast and I will interview you about your situation specifically. There are ground rules, of course, and we can certainly discuss that. If that's an avenue you would like to choose, you can message me through this app, or you can email me directly to do so. And my assistant will get you taken care of. Hope that helps. Thanks so much.